Okay, so we're going to turn the saw on and we're going to cut some rocks. The first one, where did I put it at? Is, have to dunk it in some water here for a second. Make sure this is the right one. Well, we're just going to cut these. See what we can find inside of them. This is the one with all the silver on it. There's another one somewhere, but we'll start with this one. And this saw sprays a ton of water. That's why I have the rags on the ground over here. But you will see. Look at the inside of it. Can you see that? That is gorgeous. And we are going to put these in here as we go. And this one, these two, and then glass. This one, and do the same thing. Right through the center right there. The inside of that. Isn't that pretty? Can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see that. This one, I'm not sure about. We're going to cut it down the center here. If you're worried about my fingers, don't worry. The blade has no teeth on it. It just has diamonds all over it. So look at the inside of that. Isn't that pretty? Can you guys see that? This one I gotta hang up the edge on. Like this, I kind of try to cut them this way so that you have two flat pieces, like I'm going to show you right here. tries to pull that away, but look at the inside of that. A little bit of a lip right there to clean up. And on that side, that goes in there next. And then this one, I've already made a couple of slices. Stop the saw real quick, and I'll show you what I mean by there's no teeth on it. And it sprays water everywhere. But see, there's no teeth. It's just diamonds on the edge on both sides. And make sure that's got no, that can go in there. There should be another rock. Look at it. Found it. It has this little shimmer of silver on it, and I want to cut it to see if that shimmer of silver, let's see if I can get this a little bit better, like that. See? I don't know if you can see that. It's got like a little layer of silver in it. It's, where is it? It's right there. I don't know if you can see that. See that little glint? So we're going to cut this to see what it looks like on the inside. Look at that. A little bit of silver in there. That's pretty. That can go in there. Wow, that's pretty. See that? Can you guys see that? Let me clean off the camera. See that? How pretty that is? A little silver in there. That leather. See that glint of silver in there. That's going to be pretty. Okay, now, you have these. See this? This is like pink and green. Can you see that? Can you see that? This ain't the best lighting in here. I'm gonna have to fix the lighting, but that will come as we get more subscribers. Oh, that one goes. Now, these are interesting. Okay, this I believe is what they call a tchotchke stone, or some call it a pudding stone. See how it's kind of a light gray with black spots in it. When you get this wet, this light gray turns to dark gray, and then the black spots show out. But this is way too thick. So we're going to cut this into some. See what that looks like. That light gray turns to almost pink. With the black in it, that will look sharp. That one in there. I always feel the edges to make sure there's no rises or anything. For a minute. Got to get out other rocks from right here. I sort everything, and sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. that one. And there's another big one in here like that one. This one, these are really interesting. When they're dry, they're this pale gray color. But when you get them wet, they turn to like a reddish brown and black. And I want to cut that one. Where's the other one? Not that one. That one's cut. There's one down here in the bottom, I think. And this one, let's see, what can we do with that one? That one's pretty, but that edge right there don't want to shine up or nothing, so we'll have to do something with that. Here's the other one, like that one. It's just too big. You see, I take Scrubby and scrub it and get all the dirt off of the flat side so I can see if it's starting to shine up. If it's starting to luster up, then that's a good thing, because we want that to have, see how that has that little bit of luster on it? When you go through the polish, that luster will turn to a gloss, be a polish. Whereas this one, you can see is still like, it's got a little bit of a luster to it, but not like this dark one. So let's see what we can do with this one first. Okay. You got a quick shut the saw off. And this is a good time to take the toothbrush and brush all the gunk away from the front of the saw. And then I have a bucket down here under the hole that this stuff wraps through to the bucket. That way I ain't got a big pile of mess on the floor. So let's see what this looks like here. That looks better. Gotta fix up that edge right there. See how you got it now on this side. I don't know if you guys can see that real good. This lighting here sucks. And then now on the other side, gotta fix this part right here, and we'll have two flat surfaces. Now we have two flat surfaces on each side, and that goes in there. Now, this little piece that come off, we're not going to worry with that. Put that in the bucket to go back outside. Now we have to cut this. always tell when the water adds, I get sprayed in the face. Sometimes they don't do like you want, but you're stuck with it. Yeah. Too thin on that one end, but it'll be okay. Now this doesn't have no ridges. One more cut here. Try to do one more cut here. All apart in pieces. Right here. Wow. So now we got that little piece, and we got to fix that, and we got to fix that. I don't know. We'll just take that and throw that and go back out in the yard. But this here, we'll take the saw. That will go in there, and I just have this one, and I want to cut this one in 2 pieces, like that. See how that one, that side is different from that side? That's why I love rock. You never know what you're going to get in it until you cut it open. One more cut. This has just a little bit of a lip on it we need to turn on. Yes, they do make expensive saws, but when you're first starting out, you don't need an expensive saw. This is just a tile saw from Vevor that's made to cut rocks. Go that way, so we're going to cut this across this way. That's what the rock tumbler is for. Rock tumbler is to take out the protection. And look at how pretty that is. Can y'all see that? I know this line is the best. And it has put over that way better. We need to do something about the lighting, don't we? And that one is okay. And then the time's fine. This goes in here all by itself. This is a piece of petrified rock. Cut that off. It's getting my leg all wet. And the drifting. That is a piece of petrified rock that's shaped like an arrowhead. So we're going to put that whole thing in there and see what we can do with it. Let me get this up here. Should be another piece. That's another piece of that thick stuff. And there, we can split that in half. We're getting down to the end of it here. We're right on a half an hour. That one is interesting. We can split that in half lengthwise. And that one we could go that way with. See, when you look at rocks and try to decide how to cut them, you look at the layers. Like, see them black layers go across that way, go across this way. So when I cut that, I would cut it like that, so that I would go through them layers. That way you get the layers on the right and left side. I think there's another one, big one down in here. I know I got too many rocks. And that one will cut lengthwise, just to have something to play with. And that one will cut that way, just to see what's on the inside. I've done some of those before. They turn out really cool on the looking on the inside. And that one will leave. That one. And that one we could do the same thing as that other one. Do it lengthwise. Put that one in there. I like to keep my rocks a little bit wet. That way they don't dry out in between polish. Put that in there. I like to put some little bitty rocks in there. That way there's a natural resistance when they're rolling around. Something with some edges. I've taken some like this with some edges and put in there, and they turn out gorgeous. So, and that one I was wanting to cut because that one won't polish. And that one can go in there. Okay, that's all. Once we get these cut and put in there, that's all we're gonna have room for. So let's see what we can do here. Start with this one. Take the Scotch-Brite and clean it off so we can see where the layers are at. And this thing keeps breaking on me. We're going to do that one that way, and then do that one last, and this one we'll do right down the center. We'll do this one first. I'll do that one next. And those two last, but I want all this gunk cleaned off of here. It's gonna get enough gunk on it going through the saw. Doesn't need extra. And that one will be up and down. That one will be up and down. This one, well, let's just do them. Instead of sitting there saying, what? Let's get them done. See that? pink and the white in there. This one is in the middle. A little bit of green in there, and a little bit of like reddish brown. I don't know if y'all can see that. Put that in there. Put that in there. Now this one we're going to do this way. This is going to be a little bit more challenging because this paint wants the outside. Pinks and greens. That will be pretty. See? I don't know if you guys can see that real well or not. Do the same thing with this. Right down the middle. Pink and green in there. Almost done here. We got this one, and then that one. And I'm cutting lengthwise like this. And this would work a lot easier if this thing would stay jointed like it's supposed to instead of falling down. But the deal with it, we have to hold it up with my finger like that. tidy up that end right there. Rock hunting today, but it's 12 degrees and snowing. So we'll have to do that some other day. This one, I'm going to do the same thing, cut it right down the center. That one down inside. That happens every now and then. That's why sometimes I have to take the trap off. That goes in there. Now we just got to do this one. Let's do this one first before we do it. That's pretty. Man. Why they say you never know what the rock's going to look like until you cut it open. So this one, I'm going to try. Totally different on the inside than on the outside. Can y'all see that? The outside is brown and dull, and the inside is pink and green. Make sure the edges. Cut. Let's see, this one. We're going to cut this one. This is going to be the last one we cut. Because we're at 45 minutes, and I don't like to make things over an hour. these too sometimes. Rough ends. That whole thing. Actually, cleaning out the edges. Put that whole thing in there. These two pieces, I'm going to put them in the box to go back outside. I got this one piece here. I might as well go ahead and cut it. We're at 48 minutes right now. See that? You know, see the colors in there? I know this angle sucks, so we'll have to do the next video from a different angle. Stops. And we take the toothbrush and brush all this crap forward. Brush this off of here. This is a mess to clean up, but put that in there. Okay, and then what we do here, we take some water and we put some water in here. We cover it up with water, almost cover it. And then in the back here, I got a container of borax. I do this before every stage. Take a scoop of borax and put in there. And then I'm going to run that for an hour. That way the rocks get good and clean and no extra grit on there. Some don't do that. Some go put the borax in with the grit. I've had numerous problems doing it that way with the grit frothing up and all kinds of headaches. So I just quit doing it that way, and I do it this way, and it works very well. And see, this don't go very long, just like I say, about an hour, just enough to get the rocks clean so that I can dump the water and put fresh water in there and some grit, and then it will go for 24 hours, and then we will check it. But that's what I got for you for this one. We got a few minutes here. I can show you putting this on here. This is simple, just push start. And it says 2 days, but, and that's going. All right, talk to y'all later.